From a place in Brazil that once held roughly 200,000 people to the stages where Hall of Fame players are made in Europe, here are amazing soccer stadiums around the world. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm your host American Eye, bringing to you another epic video. Now let's get on to it. Number 14, Arena da Amazônia. Located in Manaus, Brazil, in the middle of the Amazon rainforest, the country of Brazil spent over $300 million to have the perfect stadium to be put to use during the World Cup. It used to be able to fit 44,000 people. It's found in Brazil's 7th largest city that has a problem with poverty and crime. Featuring luxury suites, restaurants, underground parking spaces, and recycling systems, it seemed like a state-of-the-art venue for the World Cup. But it turns out that that's all it was useful for. It brought a lot of spectators in for 2014, but has failed ever since. Being located almost directly on the equator and the humid rainforest, most professional players would rather choose somewhere else. The local matches only bring in about 1,000 people each game, which is well below its capacity. Some feel as though Brazil could have used the money otherwise to help boost the economy in the region. Number 13, Estádio da Luz. If you walk into the stadium, you might get greeted by a red eagle that we see here. This multi-purpose stadium is found in the country of Portugal and is home to the team known as SL Benfica. It opened on October 23rd during a match between Benfica and the Uruguayan soccer team. The seating capacity was once as high as 120,000 seats, but it's been made smaller to seat about 60,000 or so. It has a polycarbonate roof, which allows for some blockage of the sun. Some notable matches here include Portugal vs England, which resulted in a draw. During this match, you might have seen some iconic faces such as Ronaldo and David Beckham. One of the more recent cool matches took place between two Spanish teams known as Real and Atletico Madrid in 2014, when Ronaldo scored a goal in front of tens of thousands of fans. Number 12, Ibrox Stadium. This stadium is found in Scotland in the south side part of Glasgow. It gets the name of Ibrox for the district in which it's located. It first opened all the way back in 1899, and then it suffered a disaster not too long after, in 1902, when a wooden terrace collapsed. About 26 years later, a record crowd showed up in attendance, with 118,567 people. They all gathered to see a match for a team known as Celtic. The stadium seems to be fairly cursed with a bit of bad luck, and in 1971, the stadium collapsed again. Maybe the Scottish need to lighten up on the beer, eh? The owner of Rangers FC was thought to be at blame. After that whole incident, they decided to modernize the stadium to the best of their abilities, and it hasn't collapsed since, knock on wood. Some future developments seem to indicate that a casino will be built soon, nearby, which hopefully won't jeopardize the integrity of the game. Number 11, Anfield Stadium, Pripyat. Arguably the worst nuclear disaster took place in the town of Pripyat, and the land here will never be the same. This was classified as a Class 7 nuclear disaster, and no one saw this coming until it was too late. With the area becoming abandoned, so did the soccer stadium. Known as Anfield Stadium, this place was once home to a team known as FC Stroitel Pripyat until 1986. It is often overlooked when people think about ghost towns, but it's certainly one of the creepiest spots. The team would compete against other cities throughout the Soviet Union, and it would fit roughly 5,000 spectators at that time. Currently, there are still rows of rotting wood used as benches, and trees now grow where the players would have competed. Number 10, Juventus Stadium. Possibly one of the newer stadiums on this list, Juventus Stadium was built during the 2011 to the 2012 season and has a capacity of roughly 41,000 spectators. It's located in Turin, Italy, and is home to the Juventus FC. Their record has been astonishing ever since the construction of the stadium, and they've only lost 3 matches during their first 100 games here. The first match was played on September 8, 2011 against the world's oldest football club known as Notts County. The football or soccer stadium has been deemed as environmentally compatible, which reduce greenhouse gases, air pollution, fire risks, and water usage. Number 9, Estadio Monumental Antonio Vespucci Liberty. This stadium with a long name is located in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and is sometimes referred to as Estadio Monumental for short. It's known for their national team as well as their most famous club known as River Plate. This is actually the largest stadium in Argentina and is often associated with the controversial World Cup of 1978. No one could believe that Argentina made Netherlands lose twice in a row in the finals, and it was here where they raised the World Cup that year. It was also for the first time in the country's history. Number 8, Anfield, Liverpool. Liverpool fans don't need a huge stadium for them to have a good time when their football team plays. The capacity here reaches about 45,000 people, and sometimes it can get packed. The atmosphere is what helps it make it on this list. The stadium first opened up in 1884, as known throughout the soccer world as being one of the best places for fans. It's home to a team that's known as the Reds, and they've won 5 European Cup titles. The home field advantage seems to be pretty strong here in this area, and visiting teams might feel a little bit intimidated walking into the stadium. Number 7. First National Bank Stadium, South Africa. This stadium appears to be one of the more colorful on this list and is home to the Kaizer Chiefs, or the national football team of South Africa. In 2010, it hosted the World Cup, and you might remember that year with all the annoying vuvuzelas that took the field by storm, and most likely still do. Construction of it began in 1987 when it was built with FIFA standards and regulations in mind. The stadium has a maximum capacity of roughly 80,000 people. It was apparently designed so the exterior of it could look like an African pot. The mosaics of this stadium make it rather unique and an interesting sight to behold. Number 6. Stadion za Lužánkami. This currently inactive stadium is found in the country of Czech Republic in the city of Brno. It was primarily used by the home soccer team and could host 50,000 people. Constructed during 1949 to 1953, it was once the biggest active stadium in Czechoslovakia. It was closed in 2001 when it no longer met FIFA soccer regulations. A plan for reconstructing it in 2012 went on hold due to financial concerns. Once it was closed, it became a popular location for drifters, homeless people, and even gypsies. Finally, in 2015, a crowdfunding project helped restore the building temporarily so that 2 Czech teams could hold a match. 35,000 spectators went to go see it, but there doesn't seem to be too much activity going on here anymore. There is talk of renovations for a youth league to utilize the stadium, but will likely never see the former glory it once did. Number 5. Estadio Azteca. This next soccer stadium is located in the capital city of Mexico, where some serious football gets played. And we're not just talking about international football. American football gets played here as well, and there has been a couple games here. It's considered to be one of the most iconic and famous soccer stadiums in the world. It was once home to the controversial Hand of God goal during a match between England and Argentina. This was one of the more memorable goals scored in FIFA history, where a player managed to actually score with his hand and got away with it. The fans of England football haven't had great memories at this place, but nonetheless, it's the 3rd largest soccer stadium in the world with a maximum capacity of 105,000 people. Number 4. Old Trafford Stadium, Manchester. After opening in 1910, this stadium is home to one of the more favorite teams of English soccer. It's also home to one of the most unliked teams too. Whether you like them or hate them, you can't deny that their stadium is pretty cool and can fit roughly 75,731 people. It opened up during a time of Industrial Revolution and has consistently been a favorite gathering spot of tribal Englishmen who enjoyed the intense rush of a goal. It's the largest stadium in England and has been home to many memorable moments. It's also home to a museum which hangs on to old memorabilia from the past and explains the history of the team. Number 3. Santiago Bernabéu. This next soccer stadium is located in the capital city of Madrid and is home to the Spanish national soccer team as well as a squad known as Real Madrid. That's because they're the real deal. Many people are proud of their team here, considering that they've won 9 European titles, which puts them on a level of their own. Some of the best players to ever play the game have made this stadium home. This includes players like Zinedine Zidane and Cristiano Ronaldo. One of the more expensive players to make himself home here goes by the name of Gareth Bale. This striker from Wales has been all the rage lately, who's going to make at least $29 million this year. Number 2. Camp Nou, Barcelona. This is the home turf of one of the favorite soccer clubs around the world, and it was built in 1957 to fit 98,757 people. Camp Nou is Europe's largest football stadium, and the motto here is that they're more than just a club. Located in Catalonia, don't call these people Spanish. At one point in time, there was more than 120,000 people here for the World Cup in 1982. Laws regarding stadiums, however, have made it more difficult to fit so many people. With all-time greats like Diego Maradona and Lionel Messi to call this place home, it makes for a historical place to play a game. But before we get to our number 1, we got a question for you. Zidane was known for doing what during a world match game versus Italy? Get the right answer for your chance to get featured in an upcoming video. And number 1, the Maracanã. Europe is a great place for some football, but Brazil is a great place for some football. The Maracanã stands as one of the most notable stadiums in the world and has been home to the 1950 and 2014 World Cup finals. And also, don't forget about the 2015 Olympic Games. It was built in 1950 and can fit a maximum capacity of 78,838 people. However, it's seemingly fallen into a state of disrepair at the moment. Once considered to be a proud landmark of Rio de Janeiro, it needed some serious maintenance work after it was discovered that people were actually stealing just about everything they can find, including the chairs. One of the reasons that it makes it on the top of our list is because at one point in time, it hosted an unbelievable 199,854 people during a finals match between Brazil and Uruguay.
Whoa, now that was an interesting video. Be sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.